Somehow, you've still not run away.
I'm thinking about it.
Maybe like halfway through, you will. Kingdom
Probably.
Hearts 2. This is where shit gets real.
Right, because shit wasn't weird enough already.
We'll get to some interesting stuff today. Let's jump in right away because I suspect that this might be the longest episode we're gonna have for a while.
And the other ones were very short already, so yeah, that's gonna be good.
Yeah, now the other ones were... Honestly, Chain of Memories was longer than I expected. Hopefully this one will be shorter than I expect, because the list of notes I have for this is insane.
Let's fucking hope so. Also, I've got something new.
You've got something new?
Yeah, it's very high tech. I've got a pen in my hands and a notepad in front of me, so I can write shit down, and I don't even need a subscription for it. So that's nice.
Are you calling me out for Google Drive? Is that what you're doing?
Kind of. But I'm also freeloading on your Google Drive, so...
Fair enough. It'll be nice to be able to like write down names and things and stuff like that. So, Kingdom Hearts 2. Do you want to see what ends up happening to Sora after he falls asleep at the end of Chain of Memories?
Right, because that was his thing. Yeah, sure.
That's too fucking bad, because we're going to be talking about this guy.
Who the fuck is this?
This is Roxas. He's a kid living in Twilight Town. We visited Twilight Town very, very briefly in Chain of Memories. And he's enjoying the last week of his summer vacation with his friends.
How many days till school begins?
Phineas and Ferb says something like 110, which is insane.
I want a vacation like that.
This is the last week, so the last 7 days of his summer vacation is what we're going to be playing through.
Alright, depression time.
But before we get to any of that gameplay, like literally before you get to any gameplay, there's like 15 minutes of cutscenes.
Uh-huh.
And
because we got some explaining and exposition to get through.
More setup than exposition, which is infuriating, but let's get into it. Because we see a scene of this dark beach place with two people in these robes. We've talked about those last time. Organization wears them, but Mickey and Riku also are wearing them because they're just generally like darkness repellent robes.
Right. And like darkness shield thingies.
The one on the left here, there's two very small ones. I don't know if you can see them very well, but the one on the left here enters and just immediately starts asking questions, asking, "Who are you?" To which the other, the taller one that's sitting down, responds with, "I'm what's left," or maybe, "I'm all there ever was." And
he's the one that remains?
Yeah, so we're introducing Marvel. This is just canon. No.
Let's get into some multiverse shit. Yay.
Not yet. Maybe in Kingdom Hearts 4 there will be some Marvel stuff. Maybe. We'll get to that.
I doubt it.
There's good reason to believe at least Star Wars will be in Kingdom Hearts 4. And again, once we get to the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, there is a logical explanation as to why things like Marvel and Star Wars suddenly make sense in this universe. It's multiverse, but different. I actually kind of like... We'll get to that, like, in a year.
Yeah.
So, I'm all that's left, or maybe I'm all there ever was. And the first figure, not very amused, this is, says, "Dude, I meant your name." To which the taller figure just shrugs it off as not important, and asks if the first figure, the one we're seeing right now, remembers his true name. And just as this figure goes to answer, the cutscene ends.
Dun dun dun.
I also should.
I mean, if you are all that's left, do you really need a name?
What is a name, even? Like, right?
Right. Let's get into some philosophy. Here we go.
Because that doesn't derail us at all. No. It's important to mention here that the taller figure, that's like, I'm all there ever was, he's voice acted. This figure that we're seeing here, that's asking the question, doesn't have a voice acting. We just see the subtitles for his dialogue here.
Okay, that's weird.
This is the start of a whole bunch of Nomura bullshit, where he's like, I'm not going to give you, like, a single word in a sentence, because that would give something away later on that I want to be a reveal. And this is a trick that he does all the fucking time, and it's infuriating.
Yeah, let's not just write a good mystery. Let's just take out all the
that's
details
just-
you need.
Let's just take out some details, and that creates mystery, because I'm literally just refusing to give people information.
That's some good writing.
It's not. So as it cuts off with "My name is," and then it cuts off, we fade to a cutscene of Kairi saying "Sora," and
With some bitch ants glitching.
yeah, this is not. If you're playing this for the first time, you might think, "Oh, my console is absolutely shitting itself." This is baked in. This is just a visual effect. This cutscene is glitching.
Right. Okay.
Okay. And we see a couple more cutscenes from Kingdom Hearts 1 with like static superimposed over it, or glitchiness, or whatever. And then Roxas wakes up in his bed in Twilight Town, noting that he had another dream about him.
Nice lamp.
You know what? I never noticed. Why the hell does he have a lamp with floating fish around it? I don't know.
Question. Yeah.
It's kind of neat.
First Finding Nemo integration.
Possibly. Finding Nemo's actually not been a world yet, strangely enough.
I mean, that would be quite easy.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, Pixar worlds aren't a thing until Kingdom Hearts 3. Like, Toy Story is the first Pixar world in the entire series. Which, if you're going to introduce Pixar films, Toy Story is a good one to start with.
Yeah, fair enough.
So yeah, he goes to join up with his friends. Let me actually zoom in here a little bit so it's easy to read.
That's some edgy motherfucker.
He's probably, well, he's not the least edgy of the group. He's probably the most edgy, except for Roxas himself. But they're all kind of bummed about things being stolen around town, and people are actually blaming them for it.
Well, if you look like that.
Yeah. So they go to...
I mean...
It's not without reason that they're being accused of it, but you're right. If you're like dressing like this with like this... I don't even know what the hell this outfit is.
And I mean, I like the chain, I guess.
It's just an axe.
Yeah.
Which, oh my god, everybody who's played Kingdom Hearts before is losing their mind at the idea that... This is Hainer, by the way. Hainer is wearing an axe, because in this game you'll start to notice that a lot of things, a lot of names have axes in them. And I'm not going to explain why, but I'm going to just put this seed of information in your brain. There is a reason why there's so many names with an axe in it.
I'm writing down names with axes.
Yes.
Sure.
Remember that, because we're gonna get to that. This is 2005 we're in right now. We'll get to the reason of the axes in 2012.
You think I still got my notes then?
Nope. Anyway, so they go around town trying to clear their name. When one of the guys goes to pick up his camera, he noticed our blank are gone. And strangely enough, he also can't say the word of the thing that has been stolen. His voice literally cuts off every time he says it. So the thieves stole something, as well as the ability of people to say the name of the thing that was stolen.
That would make it quite hard to make a case for it.
Yeah, no, and this is a smaller scale version of what I just said about Nomura thinking, okay, I don't want to tell the players what's going on, so I'm just going to cut out the audio of the cutscene for this specific part of the line, right?
I just watched the new Knives Out movie, and After seeing a proper mystery, this is kind of insulting.
Yeah. Luckily, so far this this mystery gets resolved very, very quickly, and the bigger mystery that we're going to be going about is written a lot better. Anyway, so I even wrote anyway into my notes because I knew that we were going to get derailed there. Just as they go out, Roxas blacks out and he has a voice in his head, which I'll just tell you, it's Diz from the last game, the red mummy dude.
Yeah.
Saying his heart is returning. Anyway, Roxas wakes back up and just ignores all that apparently, because they go out to the town and try to talk to people and figure out what the hell's going on and why people are accusing them. And they run into a gang of... They're kind of like people who are supposed to like keep order. Not quite police, but like self-appointed police, more or less, right?
Because that always goes well.
Yeah. They're really just more bullies that have some kind of like reason to bully people because they're keeping the town safe is
Sure.
what their character is.
Keep telling yourself that.
And even they say they had their blank stolen too.
Oh no, not my blank.
And they think you did it because they beat you up.
I mean, that's what I would do if someone stole my blank.
You know it. So, in response, you beat them up. And
Fair enough.
when your friend goes to take a picture of your victory, this white monster shows up, takes the camera, and just runs the fuck away with it.
Oh no, he stole my blank, the camera.
Seeing where this is going, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So, Roxas chases this thing to a mansion in the woods where he tries to beat it up with like, I think I've got a little bit of a screenshot of it later. It's kind of like a martial arts sword, it's one of those foam sword things. Of course, that's not going to do too much against like a fantasy monster. So suddenly, Keyblade.
Oh. Well, hello there.
Side note, the monster also calls Roxas my liege, which is just, again, information. Do with that as you will.
Uh-huh. My liege or my liege?
Liege, as in my lord. With the Keyblade, beating up this monster, super easy, barely an inconvenience. And Roxas ends up getting the photos back. And holy hell, everybody can say the word photo again.
Wow.
But the weird thing is, all of the photos that were stolen had Roxas in them.
Okay.
And with that, we end off the first day. When Roxas goes home, we see a field of static with a robotic voice saying, restoration at 12%.
Okay, so someone is reconstructing his memory?
Maybe. Could be.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we'll get to that.
And someone has an obsession.
Yeah, maybe they're the same person, maybe not.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. Maybe a lot of things are happening here.
Maybe we'll get to that.
Well, I can promise you we'll get to both of those things today.
Oh, good. Not in like 20 years.
For once. Somewhere in some high-tech lab, we see Diz and some other guy in a robe talking about why the nobodies are stealing pictures instead of the real Roxas. Diz reveals that they're just kind of too dumb to tell the difference.
Okay, so that's some good henchmanship.
Yep. That's all we get from these guys at the moment, because we go back into more glitchy dreams from Kingdom Hearts 1.
Nice logo, by the way, on the guy on the left.
Oh my god. We're gonna go straight past that.
Alright.
So yeah, more glitchy cutscenes from Kingdom Hearts 1. This happens every night in Roxas' dreams, so I'm going to stop commenting on them, except for when there's something specifically relevant in them.
Conclusion, your VHS player is broken.
Yeah, now it's more like your PlayStation 2 is broken, because Roxas in his dream is clearly trying to play Kingdom Hearts 1, and it's just not working.
Damn scratched disc.
Yeah, it's horrible. He should really go get that fixed. But these happen between every day of gameplay, so just keep that in mind. In this dream, though, Roxas learns about the Keyblade. So when he wakes up, he picks up a stick, and swings it around, and it doesn't turn into a Keyblade, so he tosses it away. Accidentally hitting a guy, that's the stick, accidentally hitting a guy in a robe and saying, "Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there, didn't mean to literally throw a stick in your face." Meeting up with his friends, they want to go to the beach, but they don't have enough money, so they need to do some minigames, I mean jobs.
Nice subtle messaging in the background.
Yeah, that's I'll get to that. That's actually like not very subtle messaging, that's part of the cutscene.
Okay.
That would be really bad if that was just like subliminal messaging.
Well, it wouldn't be subliminal messaging.
No, it would be very in-your-face messaging. But yeah, they need to make money, so they go do some jobs, some really weird jobs, fun little mini games to make a little bit of money. And they're talking about this big struggle tournament coming up soon, which they want to take part in because it's like fun martial arts stuff. And that thing back there, that's like the foam clubs they use for this sports thing. I
mean, this struggle tournament sounds more like just our generation talking on Twitter.
Sadly enough, yeah. But it's more like it's hard to really like get a good parallel to the real world for this struggle tournament because it's a really fucking weird sport. It's more or less like sword fighting, like not like fencing. It's like full on just swinging a foam club at each other.
So just like medieval reenactment sword fighting.
Kind of. Yeah. That's probably the closest. The difference is that this is of course a video game, so somehow when you get hit, you drop orbs, and at the end of like 2 minutes, the person with the most orbs, where the hell did those orbs come from? Don't question it. Wins. Or you.
I mean,
get
if you get hit
orbs.
enough, if you get hit hard enough, you'll drop some orbs, but maybe not the kind of orbs you want to pick up.
Let's just say they're collecting each other's blood. That makes a lot more sense to me.
That's still nasty.
The only reason it's not blood is it's because it's a PG-12 game. Okay.
Yeah.
And because Disney. Anyway, they make some money by doing jobs around town. That's the important part here. The struggle tournament is a while away. And Roxas is given the money while the gang heads up to the train station. But Roxas runs into Mr. Rope Guy again. Turns out this guy took Roxas's purse and he doesn't have the money for the train tickets anymore.
You bastard.
See, there, in his hand, he's got the purse. He lifted it of him. But Roxas thinks back to what the guy said when he ran into him. And he asks to Roxas, "Can you feel Sora?"
Ew.
It's more of like a sensing thing rather than a sexual thing.
Right. Still PG-12.
Yeah. You'll note why that's a really weird thing in a moment. And with in a moment I mean like in an hour and a half.
Also, that computer setup looks like something unique.
That computer setup is... Honestly, I probably would get a use out of all of those monitors.
Oh, hell yeah.
Why the hell there's triangle-shaped monitors is a bigger question, though.
It's irrelevant. It's screen real estate. Take it.
Fair enough. So, Roby McRopeface and Diz are chatting again, and Diz asks if he really had... if it's really that hard to make a beach for Roxas and the gang to visit. And Diz answers that it would only be giving the enemy another point of entry. He also tells the robe guy to get rid of that purse, because objects from that town shouldn't exist in the real world. Roxas...
Interesting.
Yeah. Roxas sees Naminé in his next dream.
Yeah, this looks like a shot that a 12-year-old would dream about. Yeah.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah.
And restoration is at 28%. The next morning, when Roxas wakes up to meet with his friends, time freezes around him, and suddenly Naminé is there, saying that she wants to meet him at least once, and then just walks the fuck away.
That's also a scenario for a not very PG-12 movie or game.
Yep.
Time freezing and finding. Anyway, let's not talk about that.
But before all that happens, she walks away because she's just like, okay, I've met you now, and I'm gonna go. Roxas, understandably, has no idea what the fuck is going on, but runs after her towards the mansion and gets attacked by more of the white dudes and learns to re-summon the Keyblade.
Looking more and more like Sora.
But as he's summoning the Keyblade, he ends up on this stained glass thing where we had the Kingdom Hearts 1 tutorial. In the Kingdom Hearts 1 tutorial, though, we had the Disney princesses on it. As far as like the print on it goes, you can see here very clearly it's got Sora on it.
And some other.
And Riku in the left, and I think that's like Donald or Goofy as well. And Kairi behind his ass, and just like Sora and everybody important to him. I'm going to just introduce this now because it's never really explained what these stained glass things are until it's like mentioned very like offhandedly in Kingdom Hearts 3 without explanation. This is called a Station of Awakening. And it's kind of a representation of somebody's heart. So
Sora in the first game had all the Disney princesses already in his heart?
It's that's honestly a difficult question.
Let's not think about it.
Because not really, and the fact that this like represents the metaphysical location of your heart or something like that probably wasn't set up that well in Kingdom Hearts 1 yet, so that doesn't really track that well. From here on out, it's a lot more consistent in that, and if you ever see a character on a stained glass platform like this, it's because they're inside of their own heart or somebody else's heart, or it's a metaphysical thing.
Right, it's so like the dang it, what's it called in Doctor Strange?
It's you mean the mirror dimension? It's more like the Soul Gem realm thing where Thanos ends up after snapping. Right. It's not like he's physically transported there, but like his soul in Kingdom Hearts, that would be your heart. Again, souls are very much a separate thing from the heart of Kingdom Hearts, but ends up there. That's kind of what's going on here. It's Roxas is inside of his heart. Why the fuck Sora is on that glass platform? We'll get to that.
I'm sure we'll get there.
After fighting some big-ass monster dude, again, much like Kingdom Hearts 1, I think I have a screenshot of that. Yeah, there we go. This one is...
That's a big-ass monster.
Yeah, this one is white, though, instead of black, so... It's different.
Like, it's a lightness? A light monster
thingy? I'll just tell you now, because it's not, like, a big reveal. That symbol you see on his head, that's the symbol of a nobody. So where Sora started his game fighting a Heartless, Roxas starts this game fighting a big-ass nobody.
Right, and the Heartless had no body and the nobodies had no heart, right?
Yeah.
Just to make it more confusing.
We're gonna be... I don't think I have a lot of screenshots of it. In this game, you fight both Heartless and nobodies. Heartless generally are more darker colors, black, purples, dark blues, red, where nobodies generally have mostly grayscale colors, and sometimes like this scarf here, it's light blue, but it's a lighter color. Doesn't mean that they're creatures of light necessarily, it's just visual distinction in like character design.
Right, and still some character designer in this game has a real fucking hard-on for big-ass zippers.
Yeah, no, that's... If you notice, let's see, where do we have that other nobody from before? This guy, his mouth is a zipper.
Yeah. Some people could use that.
Fair enough. Anyway, so he fights this as his big tutorial fight on the Station of Awakening, and this one is all stretchy and stuff like that, and it's slightly different. The fight itself is actually very different, but it mirrors Sora's start in Kingdom Hearts 1 very well. After he beats up this dude, he ends up in a white room talking to Namine.
This looks like a... dang it, what film is that? There's this very famous scene of someone being interrogated and uncrossing their legs.
Oh, that one, yeah.
A little too wide. That's what this looks like.
Yeah, it's especially with her dress, and she's the only one in the series that has plain clothing like that. Her being higher up, yeah, it's a little suggestive, I suppose.
Yeah.
I
mean that's one of the things Disney is very good at, just being very suggestive, but never actually explicitly saying anything in that sense.
This quick side note, but later on in the game, Kairi is around towards the end. And she's just standing around like an NPC in a certain place. And since you have full control over the camera, with a little bit of finagling, you can get the camera under her skirt.
Mm-hmm.
And in the original Kingdom Hearts 2, there was actually a print on her underwear. In the HD remake, they just changed it to be pure white, so they didn't give the impression of rewarding that kind of behavior.
Yeah.
My question is, who the fuck thought it was a good idea to give her a pattern on her underwear to begin with?
I mean, you want to make it as realistic as possible, I guess.
Yeah, we gotta make it very realistic with all these monsters of darkness and souls and metaphysical hearts and
details.
All that I can swallow, but somebody wearing just normal, non-patterned underwear, that's unbelievable.
No.
She asks Roxas if he remembers his true name. But that black guy, not like a black guy, but a guy in a black robe, I should mention.
Yeah. I mean, he could be a black guy. We never see his face.
He could be. We'll get to see his face, and you'll be the judge of that. He pulls her away, saying that Roxas doesn't need to know shit.
Shut up, bitch.
And he tells Roxas to go the fuck home.
Oh, side note. Do we ever get darker skinned characters apart from the in the Disney scenes and stuff where they are in the content they're taken from?
Yes, but I don't think there's any dark skinned characters on the good side.
Alrighty then.
Now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, I don't think so. We had Ansem in the first game, right? He had a darker skin tone.
Yeah.
But he's pretty evil.
Yeah.
And most other evil characters have that same skin tone for a reason that we'll explain in this game. So, no. Yes, kind of. It's complicated.
All right,
anyway,
let's just think about it.
Restoration at 48%.
Right.
Now we are getting ready for the Struggle Tournament. And you might be thinking, why the hell are we talking about the Struggle Tournament? Is this lore relevant? Yes, it is lore relevant.
Hold up.
Yeah?
Talking about being suggestive.
Okay, yeah.
Come on.
In their defense, at this point in the game, you've been running around for an hour with this struggle bat as your weapon. So you're a little bit more used to what it's supposed to look like. Instead of holding a really weird butt plug.
Yeah.
So the Struggle Tournament, just a normal day of sportsmanships and nothing weird happening, is what I would say if this wasn't Kingdom Hearts. So when we get to the final round, a very special someone, when you go to face him, time stops and he turns into a white boy.
Wait, before we get there, on the previous slide,
yeah,
that those letters above the banner. That's a good representation of what you have been going through the last few days. Too long to write.
Yeah. Well, about weeks, really.
Yeah.
This game is the longest cutscene compilation in the series. I've watched through 13 hours of cutscenes. A lot of the Disney shit I skipped through. But still, there's 13 hours. And the next game we're going to go over is like 3.5, so that's much better.
All right.
Anyway, so your final opponent freezes time again, just like with Namine before, and turns into one of these white nobodies. Here you can see the symbol for the nobody a little bit better on his head.
Yeah. Kind of looks like a mustache, but whatever.
How does that look like? Oh, yeah, the bottom. Yeah, the bottom kind of does, yeah.
Also, he has, like, what's the dark blue stuff on his side?
On his side, that's just nothing.
That's just character design.
This is character design. I should actually correct myself. Before we saw one of these guys with the zipper closed, and I said it was his mouth. It's actually not. It's the squiggly line that you see is his mouth. This thing is just a suit around it. We never see one of these without the suit, but we can assume that it's a suit around a simpler thing. I don't know. This whole zippers as part of a natural body thing weirds me out a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not lore relevant. I just like to complain about it.
Yeah, yeah. Just having something mechanical as well, I guess your arms are mechanical, but whatever.
So we beat up some more of those nobodies, and then somebody shows up walking into the scene, and it's Axel. We like Axel. It's the only guy who survived Organization 13's Chain of Memories. Everybody died in that castle except for Axel. He survived, and he's here now. And he's saying he's on a mission to take Roxas with him, willingly or not, calling him number 13, Roxas, the Keyblade's chosen one.
The other Keyblade's chosen one.
Yeah. Oh, better get used to that. The first thing you do, of course, you don't know who the fuck this guy is. You've never seen him before. You're Roxas, so you beat him up with your newfound Keyblade.
Yeah.
And after you do that, Diz finally shows up, saying to Roxas to just ignore this dude, and Diz and Axel get into a bit of a argument, and Roxas is not having it, so he just starts to lose his shit and scream, which for some reason stops time from being frozen, and he can go back to the struggle tournament.
So time freezes, you fight a monster, and two people show up saying, "Come with us, willingly or not."
Yeah, more. Well, the Axel says you're gonna come with me because I've got a mission to bring you back, and Diz shows up saying like, "Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen. Roxas is staying right here." But Roxas doesn't know either of these two people,
and they both look evil as fuck. So,
so who to listen to? Roxas' answer is
none of them.
Nobody, and just plot convenience. Time resumes again.
Just screaming time into existence again.
So Roxas goes on to win the tournament and get this trophy with these 4 little glass orbs on it. Again, you might be asking yourself, why the fuck are you wasting my time with little details like this? This is relevant.
They're in Infinity Stones?
No.
They kind of look like them.
There's only 4 of them, so...
I mean, there are some Infinity Stones you could lose.
Yeah, fair enough. This would be like soul, space, reality, and time.
And that's enough.
You don't need either soul or mind, actually. That color goes either way.
I mean, some people
it's really
get through life without mind. So.
Do you like Gamora or Vision more? One of them gets to survive.
Cool trophy, by the way.
Cool trophy, yeah. We'll get to see that a little bit more later. But yeah, so luckily, for some reason, there's 4 friends here. There's 4 orbs, so Roxas just rips these things off. What is presumably a one-of-a-kind artifact in this world.
You bastard.
And just gives those glass orbs to his friends, vandalizing the cultural heritage of Twilight Town.
absolute fucking kids these days.
Yeah. But it's a happy feel-good moment. At least it is, until Roxas falls off the tower. They're sitting on top of a clock tower. Roxas falls off.
Well, I mean, that's what happens when you sit on the ledge. Just not very smart.
And that's the end of the game. Roxas is dead. No, just kidding.
That would be fun.
That would be really fun. The cutscene fades to black, and we get to see Kairi. She's a bit older than the last time we saw her. And she's not on the island that we know. But she's still on the Destiny Islands. Because, as it turns out, the Destiny Islands, as we saw in Kingdom Hearts 1, was just one island. I think in the next cutscene. Yeah. There it is. There's a whole ass, bigger island. 100, 200 meters away. Why the fuck did they need a raft?
I mean, 100 meters, depending on your physical being. 100 meters swimming is quite tough.
I mean, but they already had boats to get back and forth from this island to, the play island.
Right. Fair point.
The further we get into the series, the less the raft makes sense, I'm telling you. But yeah, so...
I mean, that's kind of... that's more just... the further we get into the series, the less Kingdom Hearts 1 makes sense.
That is... I mean, that's true. To a certain extent, because, of course, Kingdom Hearts 1 didn't plan for, a 20-some-year running series.
Yeah, exactly. Phone, shut up.
But also, there are some points that actually, with some amount of sense, arguably, do go back to Kingdom Hearts 1 to create new plot points. We'll get to it. Not in this game. So yeah, the island there, that wasn't the entire world. There's a whole ass island with people and presumably a whole society there. But Kairi's vowed not to go back to what I'm going to refer to as the play island. The island that we played around in Kingdom Hearts 1 with. Because she asked her friend that's with her. Don't have a screenshot of the friend. Do you remember those boys we used to play with? And the friend says, yeah, sure, Riku. I wonder whatever happened to him. I haven't seen him around in a long time. And Kairi asks, yeah, Riku, that's one of them, but there was another one. And a friend's like hell there was. No. we had Waka and Tidus from Final Fantasy X, and they are still around. We have Riku, who is gone fucked off, and we're all very confused and worried about that. And that was everybody. There was nobody else on the island.
So, alright, so Sora is erased from memory.
Yep.
Again.
But, yeah. Well, in the last game, Sora's memories of other people were erased. Now, people don't remember Sora the other way around.
It's the Spider-Way... Spider-Way?
Spider-Way, no man home.
Spider-Way... Precies. Exactly. Yeah, that.
Kinda, yeah. Except this doesn't have multiversal implications yet. But Kairi actually does remember something. She remembers the being someone. She just doesn't remember shit about him. And she doesn't want to go back to the play island until she remembers everything about the boy that she's forgotten. Even though, if you've ever seen any movie, going back to that place probably would trigger some kind of memory relapse for her. Hey, what do I know?
Yeah, I mean, that's... I can't remember a thing that happened over there. Let's not go over there.
It's very stupid.
Yeah.
But as Kairi is explaining this to her friend, she has a headache. She passes out, and she hears Roxas' voice in her head, calling out for Naminé. Kairi's like, "Yeah, I'm not Naminé. You've got the wrong number here."
Wrong mind link thingy.
But Roxas just answers with, "Oh wait, you're Kairi. You're the girl he likes," which is just very rude of Roxas to blow up Sora like that.
Yeah. Not cool, man. Not cool.
Kairi just kind of goes past that, not responding to that, and asks, "Oh, you."
I mean, she knew.
She knew, but she just wants to know. Give me a name, and Roxas is like, "I'm Roxas," and she's like, "No, I don't fucking care about you. The boy you're talking about. Who is the boy?" And now we hear Sora's voice saying, "Oh, come on, Kairi. You don't even remember my name. I'll give you a hint. It's starts with an S, which I would just
So
say.
we got a mind link group chat now.
Yeah. Which, Sora, don't be sassy. This is an important moment, okay?
Shut up. Just give her your name.
Yeah.
Like, sheesh.
But apparently this does it for Kairi, because she runs off, and a little while later, this is Roxas falling down the tower very, very slowly, like Inception, time dilation stuff.
Uh-huh.
A little while later, Kairi has written a letter in a bottle, because the group chat doesn't work anymore, I guess. And she, let's see, what do I have here? I'm just kind of like winging it. Let me read my notes. Yeah, she just throws it out to sea, and she says Sora's name in full. So she's the first person to now remember Sora again.
So the group chat doesn't work anymore. Let's put a letter in a bottle with like a chance of 1 in a gazillion of actually reaching the person you needed to.
I've never done this letter in a bottle thing, but I feel like just putting it up on shore like this wouldn't work.
That depends on the current. If it's
if it's receding, I suppose it would be. Yeah.
Yeah, if it's high tide and it's going back, then maybe. Also, there's
Still,
a 90% chance it will
it will just wash back up.
either that or it will end up in one of the like plastic ocean thingies, just where all the trash collects.
But hey, this is Chekhov's glass bottle, so of course that's not going to happen.
Yeah, of course.
Luckily though, this works, and the message in a bottle drifts away, and go remember Sora, and restoration is at 79%. 10% too much.
They skipped the nice part.
Diz and Robbie McRopeface, as I like to call him, are ready to dump some exposition for us, because we haven't had enough of that yet.
Let's go.
Explaining how Roxas meeting Nominate put him in contact with Kairi's heart, which in turn is now affecting Sora. I should clarify that all of the dreams that Roxas has been having every night, I haven't been really going into those, but they're less and less general about Kingdom Hearts 1. Every night, it's more and more clear that those dreams are trending towards being about Kairi specifically. The first scene she's in, we just cut away before she appears or her name is dropped. But eventually, the dreams are just about scenes with Kairi, and in the very end, it's just shot after shot of Kairi and her name.
I mean, teenage boy's gonna be obsessed.
Yeah. So Robbie McRopeface asks who's Nobody Nominee even is. She's a very special thing. Diz tells him that he could tell her that, but first, Diz wants to know a little thing of his own. Because what is Robbie McRopeface's name? And Robbie McRopeface, I'm gonna stop calling him that in a moment because we're actually finding out who it is, pulls back and reveals he is... Oh, that was very anticlimactic. Let's try it again. He pulls back his hood and reveals he is Ansem.
Yeah, of course.
Which Diz seems to find particularly funny. Why that is, who knows?
I'll get to that.
The next day, okay, I should have put a screenshot in between here. Anyway, enjoy the view of a train for a moment.
This is Merlin's train?
Kind of close, actually.
Yeah.
So the next day, the gang, because summer vacation's almost over, they need to do their homework. They had a homework assignment, all summer to do it. Of course, they're going to do it 3 days before the end of summer. Because
that's still like...
That's the most realistic...
3 days before that, that's still very punctual for someone in school.
This is definitely the most realistic thing in this entire series so far. And even then, as you say, it's still a little bit of suspension of disbelief needed to believe that teenagers would do this 3 days before instead of just like the night before.
I would do it the morning before.
Or like 2 weeks after school's already started.
Yeah.
But their homework project is going to be a little bit of a fun thing because there's all these
And there's the suspension of disbelief again.
there's these weird rumors about things that have been happening around town. They call it the 7 Wonders of Twilight Town. And they go to investigate them and find the truth behind them. And for some reason, Roxas is the one investigating all these things. And the rest of the group is just kind of around.
And that's very believable.
That's
That's how old school projects go.
Yeah, but the difference is that, like, Pants is the one that's, like, trying to, like, take the lead in the project, but Roxas is doing all the work. So usually it would be like that one nerdy kid does everything, and that one nerdy kid usually was me.
Oh, hell.
And everybody else just sits back and gets a good grade. Here, the nerdy kid also sits back and lets one of the jocks do the work.
I mean, that's just good on the nerdy kid.
Very good, very cathartic, very unrealistic.
Yeah.
Anyway, so every time we see one of these wonders, it has a certain glitchiness around it. And when we try to explain to Pence what happens, he's like, you're just fucking with me. It's not real. Let's move on to the next one. Which is very good investigation, by the way. It's just first-hand witnesses, just don't believe them and move on.
If you if you can't see it, it's not real. It's like they're freaking flat earthers.
Well, to be fair, in this universe, most worlds are a flat plane, so...
yeah, fair enough.
So this train we're seeing here, we've been looking at for the last couple of minutes. This is the last wonder of Twilight Town. This is the last of the 7. Well, actually, no, this is number 6. My bad. And it's the ghost train. It rides in and nobody's aboard. Which is just like a classic, like, ghost story, but in a more Disney context.
Or it's just like an automated train.
Do you think we have that kind of technology? Not on this world, on other worlds maybe. But Roxas sees this train, and nobody else is looking. And just as it passes by, everybody looks and doesn't see anything, because the world is literally gaslighting Roxas. So they run to the train station, and they see the train, or rather, Roxas sees it. He tries to go inside, but Hena, the blonde kid, holds him back, saying, "Dude, you're gonna step onto the rails and get hurt, because there's no train here." And
the train isn't real.
At this point, you can maybe tell that I was getting a little bit tired and throwing in some memes. But yeah, so there wasn't a train. Roxas was the only one who could see it to begin with. And then the real train shows up, and I don't have a screenshot of that apparently.
I was just about to say that, like, our train's made out of bricks, but luckily not. They're not that dumb.
That would be horrible. So they take the actual train, which arrives like 2 seconds after they get to the station, to go back to the main Twilight Town. They took a train to get here. This is a separate part of town. They're going back home. Because the last myth is the mansion, the girl in the window. Wonder who that could be.
The only one with normal clothing.
Yeah. Which still, now that you've pointed out, that dress is really short. Like, it doesn't go down. Like, I don't want to be that guy, like, cover up your legs.
Oh.
But it's like thigh high, which is a bit much.
Like, I mean, a dress like that is fine. Just maybe be aware to not stand near a window in this angle.
With people looking up at you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point. So yeah, they go to the haunted mansion to check out the girl in the window. Not check out like that.
No.
To check out the myth.
Let me guess. Nobody sees anyone except.
Yeah, it gets a little bit worse here, actually. Because Roxas looks into the window, and then suddenly he can see himself walking around the wide room inside.
That's a very white room.
It's very white. It's the only room in this mansion that's this white as well. It's supposed to be. Yeah.
Did someone forget to make textures?
It's supposed to be reminiscent of Castle Oblivion, which was all white.
Ah, okay.
Why the fuck there's a mansion in Twilight Town that looks like Castle Oblivion? It's beyond me.
Who knows? Who cares?
But Roxas, like, his mind gets transported. It's not like he teleports into here because he's still standing outside. He can just, like, see and walk around in this room. And
Useful.
He's very useful. It's not a power that he has, like, on his command. It's just something that happens to him. And he sees the drawings all over the place that Namane has been drawing because, as we saw in Chain of Memories, she likes to draw. She's not very good at it, but she likes to. And he sees one specifically of himself on the right here, and Axel in the middle with some other figures to the left. And then he sees a drawing of Sora, Donald, and Goofy. As I said, Namane is not very good at drawing.
No.
Good enough to recognize it. Well, you can recognize Sora and Donald. Sora and Goofy. Donald is a bit more difficult.
Yeah, I mean, now that I know, sure, I can find him, but...
The only reason you know Donald is there is because there's Sora and Goofy. And something blue.
I mean, the resolution doesn't help.
The resolution certainly doesn't help. That's fair enough. So yeah, Namane explains to Roxas that about a year ago, she had to go into Sora's memories and fuck around with him a bit. But now some of those memories are inside of Roxas, and Sora kind of needs to have those back.
Yeah, that would be useful.
And she also kind of drops a big bombshell on him.
Oh, damn.
Which is just... Roxas...
Now we're getting into... the Moon Knight territory.
That's actually pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah.
He even answers to this with, even if that's true, how the hell how could you say that? Even if it's true, that's rude as hell.
You bitch.
But yeah, so for everybody just listening, she says you were never supposed to exist, Roxas, which is quite a bit of a bombshell.
Quite a bit.
Meanwhile, Diz and I really don't like the fact that I can't call him Ropey McRopeface anymore, but Diz and Ansem are discussing their progress and about the holes in their memories starting to fill in. So much like Kairi is starting to remember more about Sora, so are they.
So Sora lost part of his memory.
Yeah.
And now everybody else also lost their memory of Sora.
Yeah.
Because that makes sense.
There is a reason. It's a shaky reason, but that's the next game that goes a little bit deeper into why that is.
So
the next game is actually... We'll get to that. The next game is actually quite a bit of fun. Especially since that is, like, the remake of that game isn't a game. It's just a movie. They didn't remake the gameplay at all. They just remade the cutscenes in HD. We're already an hour in. Holy fuck. So Ansem asks Diz, what is it that you even want? Why are you doing this? And Diz just simply answers, I want revenge, man. I need my revenge. And then he goes to order Ansem to just murder Namane, saying that, much like Roxas, she also never was supposed to exist.
So that's why she doesn't get, like, in this universe, proper clothes.
That's why she has normal clothes and hair. She wasn't supposed to exist. Then again, Roxas wasn't supposed to exist either, and he's spiky as fuck.
Yeah.
Restoration at 97%.
Oh, we're getting there.
So that night, Roxas dreams of the ending of Kingdom Hearts 1, which isn't lore relevant, but I just bring up to remind everybody of shirtless Mickey Mouse.
Hell yeah.
But also, then the memories start of where we should be getting to Castle Oblivion and where Chain of Memories happens and all that. But there, the screen... Oh, I don't have a screenshot of that. Fades to static. So we're remembering Kingdom Hearts 1 more and more clearly. But then when we get to Chain of Memories, those memories are now the glitchy ones.
Right, so we have restored the memories of the first game, and now it's on to the second.
Not really. At the end of Shin Memories, Namane explains to Sora that if he wants to have his memories of Kingdom Hearts 1 and just like his old memories back, that he's going to have to give up his memories of everything that happened in Castle Oblivion.
Right, yeah.
So that's what this is visualizing, is we remember Kingdom Hearts 1 now for 97%. But as soon as those memories go into what happened after Kingdom Hearts 1, those memories are now glitchy because they don't work anymore. And now we get to see the first cutscene from the game again. This one. But it's fully voice acted now. Both characters have voices.
Nice.
After an hour. And the guy who asks, who are you? And I meant your name. Sounds an awfully lot like Roxas does.
Yeah.
You realize why we didn't hear his voice the first time around now? Is, of course, they wanted to keep that secret a little bit longer. That, yes, the guy on the left here, the shorter one, that's Roxas. As if that wasn't badass enough, we go to the next cutscene where we see this Roxas imposter dude with 2 keyblades. I had a real difficult time getting a good screenshot of both of them.
Yeah.
But he's wielding 2 keyblades at once, which is a first.
Badass.
He's so badass, in fact, having 2 of them. He throws one of them at his opponent, just thinking, I've got 2, I can just use one as a ranged weapon. Turns out, though, that wasn't a good strategy because the person he's fighting is Riku, and he just catches the keyblade.
Haha.
So, fuck you, Roxas. So, Riku kind of like beats him up with his own keyblade, and that's where this memory sequence ends. The next Roxas, the next morning, Roxas wakes up, and we see Sora's model fade in and out over top of Roxas.
Dum dum dum.
Which, all like lore stuff aside, this is actually technically pretty impressive on a PlayStation 2, because the way they're doing this is they're rendering the same scene twice, once with Roxas and once with Sora, and then overlaying those on top of each other.
Why? Why not have just 2 models at half opacity and in the same place?
That I wonder as well. I have no idea. There is a shot later on, I don't know if I have it here. No, I don't. Where there's a shot from outside into his window, and a couple of birds fly by, and between like 2 birds, there's like a 5-way frame window where the model swaps entirely from Roxas to Sora. And the way that's done is just by moving the camera down to the replicated version of this entire room. It seems like this is very not the smartest way of doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know why. But it's technically very impressive that they're doing it, because lately I've actually been looking into like doing this like superimposing or crossfading between 2 cameras in real time. And it's actually pretty tricky to do. And the fact that they did this in 2005 on a PlayStation 2,
that's pretty cool.
I have no idea.
If you want some good examples of that, check out the Beyond the Boundary of Spider-Man Remastered.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that one yet.
That's a good one.
Okay.
Anyway, also the chair right there, looking cool, ergonomically fucked.
Yeah, maybe it's a very, very comfortable star. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
So when he goes to meet up with his friends, they can't see him, and they literally run right through it.
Oh no.
So talking about the whole Roxas isn't supposed to exist, yeah, that's kind of happening.
Yeah.
He doesn't really exist in the lives of these people anymore, and they don't miss him. They're not thinking, where's Roxas? Just he's pulling a Sora. He doesn't. Nobody knows about him.
That's got to be heartbreaking.
Yeah. And even the photo he was in before, he's been photoshopped out.
Oh no, it's a Back to the Future.
It's literally a Back to the Future. Except that, well, not even except that. The composition for this photo really feels like there should be 4 people in it.
Yeah.
So it's a real bad Photoshop job.
Also, that in the previous slide, is that some more subliminal messaging, like "Welcome to your new life, you're fucked"?
No, I don't think so. We've seen that poster a bunch of times in previous cutscenes in this area. It's just part of the decor. Maybe it's there because it's the start of the game. Welcome to the game. But it's looking a little far into it, though.
Yeah.
So this is some great time for a little bit of action. Do you agree? We've been talking a lot about like existing and unexisting, and Ansem and Diz and Keyblades, and it's time for a little bit more action. So
let's get this existential crisis out of here and just beat some people up.
So that's what we have Axel for. Axel shows up and saying, you know, I've been ordered to just like murder you. You don't remember shit.
You're not supposed to exist, so...
You're not going to come back with me. I'm going to have to kill you. I'm very sorry about this. I don't want to do this, but I have to. And then Rox is just like, you're Axel, right? And Axel's like, I know. Wait, you know who I am? You remember? Rox is, yeah, I kind of do. And Axel's very happy about this and asks, okay, one more question, just to be sure. What's our boss's name? And Rox can't answer that, obviously, because he doesn't know shit. And Axel thinks, okay, I shouldn't have been hopeful. Okay, let's get this over with. We're going to kill you.
You're going to die.
And just then, we have another time freeze. So Axel goes to ready for an attack. And doesn't actually get to attack because time freezes. And we hear Diz's voice talking to Roxas to go to the mansion. In the mansion...
I mean, just fleeing might be a good idea.
Yeah, just getting away from the dude literally trying to kill you was a good idea. Yeah. And this just gives him a direction. You should go there because we need you here at the mansion. You don't need to be at the place where you're going to die. Just come here.
Cool. Let's go.
So in the mansion, Roxas is now again in this wide room where we saw him before. But now he's actually physically there. So it's not like he's like transporting his mind somehow, again, never explained, into it. He's just like, he's walked into the mansion, went upstairs into this room. And he's examining some more of Naminé's drawings. And when he sees this one, the blue one, right next to his head, he gets a little bit of a headache. And I'll just tell you now, headaches in Kingdom Hearts, but like fiction in general does this, Kingdom Hearts is really fond of doing this. If a character has a headache, they're about to remember some repressed memories.
Yeah, that's kind of true.
So we see Roxas in one of those organization coats talking to Axel. And Axel asks, okay, so your mind's made up? And Roxas is like, yeah, I'm going to leave. Axel's not about that, saying, you can't betray the organization. They're going to go after you and they will kill you. Roxas just shrugs it off, saying, oh, I don't really care. No one would miss me. And walks away, leaving Axel behind alone. And Axel says, that's not true. I would.
Oh.
And then we're back in the wide room. Roxas now having regained that memory. And asking Naminé about Organization 13. The bad guys, right? And Naminé says, you know, I'm not so sure that they're bad guys. They're a group of almost people wanting to be people.
Yeah, kind of like himself.
Yeah.
Also, hold up, you bastard. You said there was going to be some action, and now we're having existential crisis again. Dang it.
Well, Axel shows up. There was going to be some action, but then Diz was like, we can't have none of that. This is Kingdom Hearts. We need to be metaphysical.
Damn bastards.
So they have some vague talk about nobodies, and this is usually the first place you really hear about the term nobody, because originally in the first release of Kingdom Hearts 1, that didn't mention nobodies. Nobodies were added into the Ansem reports in the HD remake, so that this wouldn't be as jarring.
Yeah.
So yeah, Organization 13, I don't know if there's going to be like a big reveal later that's going to blow your mind. Probably not. It's made up of nobodies wanting to get hearts.
Yeah, because, you know...
If a nobody gets a heart, they're a person again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And without a heart, they can't feel anything. They don't have emotions. Then that kind of sucks. And that makes them really angry, so they want a heart. So Roxas makes his way down to the basement, where he sees the lab that we've been seeing Ansem and Diz in before, where he has another headache, getting a flashback. This time we see the conclusion of the fight with Riku. Turns out Riku actually did beat him up, and brought him to Diz, who put him in a digital Twilight Town until he's ready to give back the memories he has to Sora.
Are they pulling a everything was a dream?
Not really. Like, everything we've experienced up until now wasn't the real world, but it was still Roxas experiencing all that for real.
It's the Matrix.
It's the Matrix, but it's all it's Tron is what it is.
Right.
Because the Matrix is like you're sleeping and your mind is in the Matrix. Roxas is physically inside of a digital town. So it's kind of like a holodeck mixed with Tron.
It's like, no, never mind.
Just accept the fact that Roxas's physical body that isn't supposed to exist was transported into a computer.
It's dang it, what's that called? Jumanji.
Yeah, but with computers instead of a board game.
Yeah, I mean the new Jumanji.
Oh, I haven't seen that one yet.
The first one is pretty cool.
Okay. But assuming that it's like Jumanji but with a video game, it's exactly that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So every, like the Haina, Pants, all that, those friends that we've been hanging out with, those people exist in the real Twilight Town. We've just been hanging out with digital copies of them, which explains all of the glitchiness in the Seven Wonders of Twilight Town. Those were literal glitches in the system.
So you just have a bad coder on this shit.
Yeah. That's pretty much what that is. To be fair, a couple of minor glitches in a literal reality simulation, it's not that bad.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so Roxas now remembers the fact that he was put into this town after he got his ass beat by Riku. So, understandably, he loses his shit and starts beating the ever-living crap out of the computer. And after he's done that, calmed down a little bit, he moves deeper into the basement, where he runs into Axel again, which he's still on a mission to kill Roxas, because Roxas is being all kinds of problematic for the organization.
So, is this a situation in which if you're killed in the digital world, you die? I mean, his physical body is in the digital thingy, so
yeah, no,
I guess you die for real.
Yeah, it's no Matrix or Inception where they need to come up with a bullshit excuse for if you die in the game you die in real life, because it's literally just physically him in there. So it's also physically Axel in there, and when Riku and Diz showed up, they were physically in there as well. It's just another world, but this world happens to exist in a computer.
Also, those are some very cool ninja stars.
Yeah, those are the weapons that I didn't have a good screenshot of in the last game. I specifically grabbed this screenshot because I wanted to show how still very clunky but kind of badass his weapons are.
They are very badass, but they're also very impractical. Because if you're going to stab someone and that someone just pushes it back, there's also a very pointy thingy pointing at you.
These are supposed to be chakrams, but usually chakrams are just like sharp-edged and don't have spikes.
Yeah.
But they're cool, and like his whole thing is fire, as you can clearly see everywhere around him.
Yeah.
But Roxas, he kind of leveled up a little bit since the last time he fought Axel, so now he's got 2 Keyblades. You can't see the second one again, bad screenshot. And this actually surprises Axel. Axel knows that Roxas has a Keyblade, but he's never seen him use 2 Keyblades. But yeah, so that means he's not prepared, and you absolutely kick his ass. It's a very fun fight.
Nice.
And then after Axel is gone, he doesn't die, I should specify. He just leaves because he's like, I can't deal with this shit.
I mean, he's one of the sort of main characters, so he can't die.
You say that.
Yet.
Roxas moves deeper into the lab and finds the sleeping pods that hold Donald and Goofy.
It's the winter Goofy.
Yeah, it's the winter Goofy, Donald, and Sora. Because after he sees Donald and Goofy's pods, he moves into a big wide room, because it needs to look like Castle Oblivion, for some reason, where he sees the big pod that Sora steps into at the end of Chain of Memories, with Diz standing in front of it. Diz gives him a greeting, saying, "Welcome to the Keyblade's Chosen One," where Roxas just asks, "Are you talking about me or about Sora?" To which Diz replies, "Actually, I'm talking about half of Sora." Roxas isn't too pleased with this response.
It would be funny if he just... Are you talking about me or about Sora? And he just says yes.
That's pretty... I mean, that's pretty much what's going on here. He's a little bit more cryptic about it. I'm talking to half of Sora. But his response is pretty much, yeah, both. Roxas doesn't like that answer, though, because it implies that he is not his own person. And figures, you know what, I've got this Keyblade, I'm going to hit you in the head with my Keyblade. But Diz, being a little bit smart on that, turns out he's a hologram, because he's not going to be fighting a Keyblade wielder. Are you fucking crazy?
Fair enough.
And finally, after Diz leaves, the pod opens up, showing us finally, after an hour and a half of this goddamn podcast, Sora.
Woo!
Ah, man. To which Roxas just replies, "Oh, fuck. It's Sora."
What up, me?
Well, it looks like my summer vacation is over. Before the screen fades to white, while they merge together, we see the Kingdom Hearts 2 logo, and the game starts.
Wait, the game starts?
This was all a
What?
prologue.
What?
There's some gameplay in there, for sure. But this was all the tutorial world.
You fuck me, Dad.
So now Roxas is out of the picture. We're back to Sora. The thing about Kingdom Hearts 2 is, I didn't want to tell you how many points and slides I actually have, because I wanted to keep you in the dark on how far we're in. Are we? I'll tell you now. I've got 200 points in total. This is point 75.
Fuck me, Dad.
And
also, I've already filled about 1.5 pages of notes here.
There's a lot of setup here, and there's 2 hours 30 minutes or something of cutscenes out of the 13 hours. From here on out, there's going to be a lot of Disney shit, which I already said we're going to skip over a lot of the Disney stuff.
Right, I was kind of thinking, where's the Disney stuff? But
this was all just the first world, which is a Kingdom Hearts exclusive, a new original world.
Fuck. On that note, I need to stay awake, so I'm gonna make some coffee. I've got some coffee. I've got some pent-up rage. Let's go.
You've got no will to live.
Also that, yeah.
Okay, so Kingdom Hearts 2 starts. Sora finally wakes up. So do Jiminy and Donald and Goofy. And they check Jiminy's journal to see a message that says, "Thanks, nominate." Which they have no idea what that means. And neither do 90% of the people playing this game, because at the time this game was released, a lot of people didn't even know the Chain of Memories existed.
Yeah, that's kind of what happens when you release games on different consoles and shit.
So, yeah, they know to thank Nominate. They don't know what to thank her for or who Nominate is. So, yeah, Sora, Donald, and Goofy pretty much in the same position as most players. So at least that's the thing. They go into town exploring because they have no idea where the fuck they are, and run into Heino, Pans, and all that. I don't think I've ever had a screenshot of the three of them before now. This is Hainer pens and all that.
Except for the photo, which
Oh yeah.
Roxas
We saw that one.
was removed from. Yeah.
So to clarify, we're now in the real Twilight Town. These are the real Hainer pens and all that. They've never seen a Roxas. They don't even know what a Roxas is. But Sora feels a major deja vu walking around Twilight Town. Just feel like I've been here before, you know? And the Twilight Town gang, which is how I'm going to refer to these people, tell him that they ran into this weird guy with very big ears who was looking for a Sora, Donald, and Goofy. So they all go up to the train station, where they get attacked, still being like very sleepy from just waking up. So they try to fight back. It doesn't go too well until Mickey the fucking mouse shows up, telling them to get the fuck out of here.
That's indeed a guy with some very big ears.
Yeah, that's fair. That's the reason they went up to the train station, because they thought big ears can only be one person.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that his hood has clearly been like modified to fit his ears in it. Whereas every other organization member has insane hair, which somehow does fit in the hood.
I mean, you can bend your hair, but you can kind of bend your ears, but it's a bit harder.
Fair enough. Probably would hurt to bend the ears that.
Also, Mickey like this can't hear shit.
So yeah, Mickey shows up, takes care of the nobodies that they were fighting, and tells them to get the fuck out of town. And gives them a purse of money.
Hey.
This purse. Which, that's the purse that Roxas lost to Ansem.
Aha.
And strangely enough, Olat has the same purse. You'll note that the person holding this in this screenshot definitely is not Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
It's actually, I don't know if that's explained here or later on, but it's the same purse that Olat has, and the reason that's weird is because she made it herself.
Right.
We know that it's because their purse came from Digital Twilight Town. Hainer Pens and Olat don't, and at this point, Sora, Donald, and Goofy don't know that either. I'm not even sure if Mickey knows that, to be honest. They're identical purses, that's weird. So they go to get train tickets with the money that is, by the way, fake money. So that's counterfeit money they're getting train tickets with, just saying.
Bunch of criminals.
Yeah, a bunch of criminals. There's going to be a lot more crime committed in this game.
Nice.
Sora says goodbye to the friends he literally just met, and for some reason sheds a tear. And they call him out like, what's that about? We literally just met? The fuck are you on about? And Sora wipes away his tear, actually kind of surprised himself, saying, but honestly, don't know. We cut away to a scene of Axel, Naminé, and Ansem somewhere in Twilight Town. Ansem was supposed to kill off the other two, that being Naminé and Axel. But he's letting them go because he owes them. Anyway, on the train, we are in space.
Like you do.
That's what trains are for, space travel.
Yeah, sure. If only it were that easy.
Oh man. This is just like a space elevator but with a train track. It's a very inefficient space elevator. And a Merlin hat. Which we're very close to explaining the look of this train. Well, explaining is a big word. But the train...
Is it really explaining anything in this game?
No.
It's more like this is how it is. Deal with it.
Pretty much. But we end up at a floating island with a tower, which is a different world. But in this game, it's kind of weird, right? Because the world that we end up in exists in other Kingdom Hearts games, and there it's a separate world. In this game, whenever you want to go to that tower, which I don't have a good screenshot of, I don't think, you need to go to Twilight Town and then go to this tower. I don't know why they didn't just make it a separate world. But this train takes them from Twilight Town through the darkness, space in between, to a different world. So it's kind of like the Gummy Ship.
So it is It is a different world, but there's like only one way in.
In this game, yeah. In other games, that's just thrown to the side. It's just like a personal like nitpick I have with this game is why didn't they just make this tower a separate world to begin with and keep it separate from Twilight Town altogether? I don't know. There might be like a technical reason for it that I don't know, but it leads to unnecessary confusion if you think about it like really hard, which if you're thinking about it really hard, you're clearly new to this series.
Yeah.
So we end up at the tower where we run into Pete, who is trying to make the wizard that lives here, hence the wizard hat on the train, his bodyguard by turning him into a Heartless, saying that Maleficent will be super happy when he comes back with a powerful Heartless like that. To which our heroes just laugh and tell Pete that they fucking murdered Maleficent. Pete runs off to go check on her, while we make our way up to the tower. Turns out, the wizard that's living here that Pete wants to turn into Heartless is Yen Sid, the guy who trained King Mickey. And do you know what his name spelled backwards is?
Yen shit.
It's Disney!
Hey.
Again, this was around the time where I was ending off a session and getting a little bit annoyed.
He kinda looks like him.
He's modeled after him. Like, his character design is based on Walt Disney.
Really? Like,
if he was a wizard.
and looking very mean all the time.
To be fair, Walt wasn't a nice guy.
True. Fuck you with your copyright bullshit.
Fucking... That's a whole different topic, but yeah. I don't think this guy's done anything nice other than making some fun entertainment, which still was kind of problematic.
Yeah, then he exploited the shit out of it and screwed everybody over with new copyright laws and just being... Anyway.
Yeah. Fuck Walt Disney. I like Disney, I don't like Disney. So yeah, Yen Sid is the wizard, ex-Keyblade master who trained King Mickey in using the Keyblade to begin with. So as badass as King Mickey is, this is the guy who trained him. He explains that while Sora saved the world back in Kingdom Hearts 1, the Heartless are now back at it. But we also have trouble from another side. The Nobodies are messing shit up, and they are led by a powerful group of Nobodies called Organization 13. These are Nobodies that, unlike the white boys that we've seen throughout the tutorial, and throughout the rest of the game, those are all like clearly like monster designs. Organization 13 is a set of Nobodies that retains their humanoid form because reasons. But they still don't have a heart. They're still Nobodies. They're just more intelligent.
Okay.
And they're anime boys. And one girl, but we killed that girl, so they're anime boys. So this is usually where you get a whole explanation of what Nobodies are for the first time. The leftovers after Heartless is created and all that kind of stuff. Of course, we've already talked about that in the HD remaster of Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yeah.
It's a little difficult, right? Because authentic Kingdom Hearts experience would be figuring that out now. But it just makes a lot more sense going into all of this knowing what a nobody is. So we already know that. So I don't need to re-explain that.
I guess it makes the mystery of whatever the white monsters are a bit more interesting. But
it makes the mystery of the white monsters a little bit more interesting. It makes it less obvious that the organization is made up of nobodies in Chain of Memories. Because in Chain of Memories there's certain moments that say... like I think Lorexine at some point says, "Oh, men without hearts are so boring," and they use the word "nobody" a couple of times in Chain of Memories, and this whole prologue about Namine and Roxas and they're not supposed to exist and what even is a nobody. Usually you don't know that until this point, so that makes the mystery a little bit more mysterious, but it also makes things so much harder to follow. So that's why I opted to just... I agree with the people who put that explanation into Kingdom Hearts 1 in the HD remaster, because
Yeah.
you want to have that information going in here. It's not authentic,
Yeah.
but there's a fine balance between understandability and a authentic Kingdom Hearts experience. Like, the more of one you have, the less of the other you get.
And having some additions and, well, not necessarily retcons, but putting some more information into the first game, knowing that first game wasn't made with the intentions of making sequels. So
Yeah,
makes sense.
Makes sense. It tries to streamline things a little bit better, and this is one of the few points where I agree that's for the better. It's also one of the few points they actually do it in. Anyway, usually this is where you get all that information. Sora gets some new clothes because he's been sleeping for a year and he's a growing boy. So I don't think we have a screenshot of Sora very well anywhere. But the clothes you have on from Kingdom Hearts 1, which is this outfit, is noticeably like shorter on Sora because he's been asleep for a year and like he's 15 now, so he grew quite a bit in that year.
Yeah.
So he needs new clothes, and this is his new outfit. So less zippers, more belts.
Still a big ass zipper, but I guess
yeah.
I guess that jacket is also too narrow to actually close that zipper.
It's an aesthetic zipper.
Yeah.
And this set of clothes also has a superpower which allows him to... It's not lore relevant, but you've got like transformations in this game which you unlock throughout the game, and like canonically that power comes from these clothes in combination with the fact that like Roxas is inside of Sora now, I guess. I don't know. I don't even have a screenshot of it.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter. They try to like tie in the fact that Sora can like... It's not even transform, he's just got different colored clothes, and he like sometimes gets a second keyblade, sometimes he gets different movement abilities. There is a canonical reason for it.
Right, it's just a power-up mechanic.
As Sora leaves, happy with his new clothes and new superpower, a crow flies in with Maleficent's robes.
Dum dum dum.
We killed Maleficent, but her robes are still kicking about.
And her crow buddy.
And a crow body, which we hadn't seen up until now. What's happening here is I don't think I have a screenshot of them. No, I don't. We have the 3 good fairies from Sleeping Beauty in this world. Those are the people who gave Sora his new clothes. And upon seeing this robe, they suddenly remember, oh fuck, Maleficent. And the fact that they remember Maleficent allows Maleficent to revive.
That's a useful ability.
This gets explained away with like more actual like rules as to how this works in a mobile game in 2019.
Okay.
Oh, you're gonna love the mobile game.
Yeah, those are always the best.
It's actually one of the best stories in the series. The game is absolute dog shit, but the story is actually pretty good. Just took 10 years to come out in like very incremental, slow updates. But at the end, if you're just watching through it all at once, which you have the luxury of doing, I didn't. It's actually pretty good. But there's some stuff that like it relates back to this. You're not gonna remember it all the way when we're there. Just
probably not.
There is a reason that her robes blows memories means that she revives.
All right. In this context, it the ability to revive is just we need a bad guy. Girl.
That's the thing though, because she's not the bad guy in this game at all. She shows up, but I think I have a point of that later. She and Pete are pretty much Team Rocket in this game. Because the big bad is Organization 13. That's who we're fighting. And
right.
Pete and Maleficent are just around so you have a reason to fight Heartless. And that's it.
They're just around to be annoying.
Yeah. Her whole thing in this game, like, the next world I'll just go into is Hollow Bastion, where she was, like, her headquarters from Kingdom Hearts 1. The big evil castle that they were in. is the next world that we visit. And that's because the Final Fantasy characters are originally from this world. So now that Maleficent's fucked off, they've gone back to living here and restoring it to its former glory. So she doesn't have a castle anymore. Her whole mission in this whole game is finding a new castle.
They're just like... So she's just like us, just finding a home.
She's just trying to rent an apartment, man. So she shows up in Disney Castle. She shows up in the final world that we visit. Also has a castle. Everywhere there's a castle, Maleficent shows up like, I would like to have this. And that's her whole character in this game.
I mean, that's relatable, right?
It's more relatable than Sora, I'll tell you that for free.
Yeah.
So after we help around a little bit, taking care of some hardlers and nobodies who are making the restoration a little bit more difficult in Hollow Bastion, we run into the organization, who are just here to kind of annoy Sora and just taunt him. And they just say, hey, we exist. Hello.
We exist. Fuck you.
Bye. But that's all they do
Right.
here. But one of them sticks around a little longer. That's this guy. If you're very, very diligent in looking at these organization members, you can actually tell them apart based on body shape, even without their face.
He's got some packs.
They've all got packs. He's just like got a little bit of a slimmer waist. But he sticks around a little longer to annoy Sora, saying, oh, he gave me that look all the time. And then he also disappears, leaving Sora thoroughly confused as to what the fuck that meant.
That seems to happen a lot. Just people saying, there's something to confuse you. Bye.
Yeah, no. The organization is very good at showing up. I mean, we saw this in Chain of Memories, right? They show up, they spout some cryptic nonsense, which makes sense in context if you have all the other information. So if you're playing through the game a second time, it makes sense. But the first time playing through it, you're like, okay, I'm with Sora. What the fuck are these people on and where can I get it? So yeah, he just likes to tease Sora a little bit. Now we get into some Disney stuff. So we're going to go through a lot of Disney worlds at a very rapid pace because nothing happens in them.
Fucking finally.
We start in Beast Castle, where the Beast is going through the plots of the Beauty and the Beast movie. Even though at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1, he was already in love with Belle.
Yeah.
So timeline-wise, that doesn't make sense. Don't think about it.
Alrighty then.
Why am I bringing it up? Just because, like, I need a place to complain about this shit, okay?
Yeah.
We also
Nice
go...
screenshot though.
There's not even a screenshot from the game. It's from the movie. Because I couldn't be bothered getting a good screenshot from the game. I just skipped past all these cutscenes.
Fair enough.
So as you can see on the left side, we also go to fucking China with Mulan, where all I've said here is we go to China. There we'll make a man out of you. Next. Nothing relevant happens in these worlds. Next up, we go to Olympus Coliseum, where an organization member shows up. So we've got something to talk about.
Hey.
This is Demix, and he has stolen the Olympus Stone. For the life of me, I don't think the Olympus Stone is a plot device in the actual Hercules movie. But I haven't seen it in a long time. Anyway, in the context of at least this game, it feels like something that's from the source material, but I don't think it is. Maybe it's just directly from Greek mythology. I don't know. It allows the gods to go into the underworld without losing their power. Because when the gods go into the underworld, usually they are in Hades' domain and they would lose their power. The Olympus Stone allows them to keep that power to go whoop Hades' ass. This guy stole the Olympus Stone because he's a dick. That's pretty much it. It's to bait Sora into being a hero or something. I don't care.
Also, this looking at his body shape and his packs, is this the guy from the last scene?
No, this is a different guy. The last guy was very sassy. This guy is very, very cowardice.
Alright.
The first time we see him, he's actually running away from Cerberus. Literally, what we see is him with his hood up, just screaming, run away, while he runs past us. So we do a little bit of a mini game with him. We don't even fight him. We just fight things that he spawns in. And after that, we get the Olympus Stone back. We get to play through some tournaments, just like in Kingdom Hearts 1. And that's everything for Olympus Colosseum. The only thing interesting here is that Demyx exists, and this is where he takes his hood off, and we really see him the first time. Now, we get to go to Disney Castle.
Yay!
Where we meet Queen Minnie, who needs our help, because deep in the castle, the cornerstone of light has been corrupted by Maleficent, who, after the events of Kingdom Hearts 1, again, she's home shopping. So she's corrupted the cornerstone.
Since Mickey is gone, is Minnie just running the place?
Yeah, now Minnie is the person in charge, because Mickey doesn't know what responsibility is.
Yeah.
Mickey's like, I'm going to help other worlds, you figure it out here. So, really, what should happen when Mickey comes back is that he's just like downgraded to Prince Mickey. And she's just the queen.
I mean, Mickey is just being both the English and the Dutch royal family in like the 1600s.
Oh no, to be fair, there's
just
a very
quote
accurate,
unquote helping other places.
It's a very accurate representation of a monarchy, being the king goes off to do whatever the fuck he wants and the queen actually does shit. I think that Disney Castle should be a democracy. It might be controversial to say, but I think Mickey is a bad person. Which, you might think that Mickey is a bit of a dick for leaving his home now. Believe me, it gets much worse.
Oh, I'll believe you.
Mickey is, like Jens Sid might have been modeled, or his character design is modeled after Disney. Mickey's personality is Walt Disney. Anyway, so the Cornerstone of Light is like the thing that the castle is built around. It's like a historical artifact or something. I don't know. And Maleficent corrupts it because she wants to make the castle all into darkness so she can finally have a fucking home again.
Yeah.
And do you know how we resolve this issue with the Cornerstone of Light being corrupted? No.
Keyblade?
Well, yeah, but no. We go ask Merlin the Wizard for some help, and he creates a door to the past.
Okay.
So when we step through, we're all black and white, and the sound is muffled and everything, and I fucking love this world.
Is this an excuse to get into what's it called? The steamboat thingy from
This is
Mickey?
Steamboat Willie world.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. We even have a different version of Pete that is like not Maleficent's henchman. It's just like the Pete from those cartoons. I don't think I have a screenshot of him. I don't. The next one is Pirates. We even beat up that Pete because we're looking for Pete to beat up. Turns out that wasn't the one we were supposed to beat up. We get into all kinds of like 1930s cartoon hijinks. It's a lot of fun. It's a very aesthetically interesting world. As you can see, the character designs are actually reverted back to what they were in the 30s. And Sora gets one to match as well. The sound is all muffled. Everything is black and white. I love it. Nothing interesting happens. Let's move on. It's pirate time.
Yay.
This is very Uncanny Valley. It's not a best screenshot I could have gotten to show it, but I wanted to have Jack Sparrow and Sora next to each other.
I mean, from this angle, it looks fine, but you can barely see his face. I guess the face is bad.
The face is pretty bad. In Kingdom Hearts 3, you get back to the Caribbean, and the faces are so much better. Like, honestly, in Kingdom Hearts 3, we've gotten to the point where pre-rendered cutscenes and real-time cutscenes are so close to each other that they can just switch to real-time cutscenes or pre-rendered cutscenes anytime they need to show a face, and it looks so fucking good. Here, it does not. And Jack Sparrow is very uncanny valley, and then the fact that there's a giant fucking dog and a duck standing next to him is just the best.
Also, having a quote unquote live action rendered dude standing next to Sora that's a bit weird.
Yeah, no, specifically in this game it's the worst. Again, in Kingdom Hearts 3 it's a little bit better. It's still weird because the proportions are just... Sora is very cartoony, and even if you render him realistically, which this does not do, 3 does, even if you render him realistically, his proportions are just cartoony as hell, and it's weird. It's really weird. I kind of like it, but it's weird.
Yeah. Also, is that just a weird rendering thingy, but what's going on with Jack's sword?
Yeah, that's just a lack of resolution. That's just his sword, the rust on his sword is the same color as the background.
Yeah.
Again, it's difficult to get a screenshot of Sora and Jack in the same shot, which I must imagine is on purpose, that they don't share a shot too often because it would look bad. As you can see, it looks bad. Agrabah.
Yeah.
Halloween time, but it's Christmas.
Yay.
I mean, if you want to say something about Agrabah, go ahead. There's nothing to discuss here.
I just wanted to say that this looks a whole lot more cohesive.
Yeah, no, this looks a lot more cohesive. And then we go to actually like doing the plot of A Nightmare Before Christmas, unlike the last time we went to this world. So we go to Christmas Town, where Santa Claus is canon to the Kingdom Hearts universe.
Okay.
And
I mean, just throw it on the pile, whatever.
it's not relevant, but Sora is on this Santa's list, meaning that this Santa Claus is not the Santa Claus for this world. This is Santa Claus. He knows about
Just
Sora
for all
and
worlds.
Riku, and for all worlds. There's one Santa Claus, and it's this guy. And he lives in Halloween, Christmas Town.
He has a lot to do.
Yeah. Every single Disney character's Christmas presents come from this dude.
No wonder his eyes look like that.
He's on a lot of cocaine.
He has been sniffing.
A lot. To be fair, normal Santa Claus already needs to do that on Earth. Probably.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, Maleficent is here to help Oogie Boogie, who is back to life, turn Santa Claus into a Heartless. Because they need to do something, and Maleficent's been... wrong direction. Maleficent doesn't have anything like actually evil to do, so she's just going around being mischievous.
Yeah, just fucking around.
Yeah. Oh, and you remember their costumes in Halloween Town in Kingdom Hearts 1? Like, Donald was a mummy.
Yeah.
They get Christmas outfits here.
Very, very edgy with his Christmas hat over one eye and stuff.
Yeah, and then there's like eyeshadow beneath the other eye.
Yeah. Oh, and Goofy having the glowing nose. Nice.
And Donald's just a snowman.
Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate.
I suppose the other option for Christmas-themed duck would be roast duck.
Yeah, make him a snowman. Yeah.
So snowman makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Nothing else happens here, so moving on. Lion Sora.
This Lion King 2.
Lion King 1. Is
yeah. Oh, this is Sora, yeah.
Yeah.
He looks like whatever his name is from The Lion King 2.
Yeah, he looks
son of Simba.
Well, Simba's daughter's evil boyfriend.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Scarson.
remember that movie
Scarson.
very much.
Yeah. I remember it too well for a movie that's that bad.
Yeah.
I like Lion King 1 a lot.
Lion King 3 is fun.
Yeah, but that's because it's... Wait, Lion King 3?
Yeah, that's just the Lion King 1 from Timon and Pumbaa's perspective.
I think that's Lion King 1.5. I'm not even fucking with you.
No, that depends on the region.
Okay, yeah. Yes, that's a fun movie just because it's Lion King 1 again.
Also, if Sora is turned into an animal, which is fun, but Goofy and Donald are already animals, why do they need to change?
Because they need to be a little less anthropomorphic, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, Donald's transition makes kind of sense. He just turns into another kind of bird. But why the fuck is Goofy a dog turtle now?
Because Goofy, and I don't think I've actually ever shown this on any screenshot, but Goofy's weapons are all shields. He's like a defensive build.
That makes
He's
sense.
got a fuck ton of HP. Goofy is just the tank of the team. So
Right.
that's also the reason that in Atlantica, in Kingdom Hearts 1, and in this game as well, but we're going to skip over that. He turns into a sea turtle. He turns into a tortoise. Because Shell is defensive and
Yeah.
shield.
Right.
So yeah, Lion Sora. Oh yeah, Pete shows up here as well. He's also a lion.
Oh, nice.
And he looks really he's definitely the worst design in this world because he already is a cat, but somehow turning him into an actual cat just doesn't work.
He just looks dumb. Scar looks cool.
Scar looks really cool. Scar actually gets turned into a Heartless here.
Nice.
He's got all
I mean,
magic.
it already kind of was. But
Well, yeah. If Heartless existed in the original Lion King, he would have been one.
yeah.
But he's actually the boss fight in this world, which is one of the few times we actually get to directly fight one of the Disney villains rather than the Heartless sidekick that they have.
Right.
And he's got all kinds of magic Heartless power. Also, he's got way too many toes. What the fuck?
This is here. Those are just his
Oh, does it?
front paws and back paws,
Oh.
just kind of merging into each other.
That's correct. It looks really weird in this.
yeah.
So yeah, also Little Mermaid and Winnie the Pooh exist. Both are just minigame worlds. Nobody likes them.
Cool.
Well, the Winnie the Pooh world is kind of fun. Nobody likes the Atlantica world in this because it's literally just rhythm games.
Those can be fun if they're done well.
They're not.
I guess they're not done well.
And for right now, we're going to leave it off there. We recorded the entirety of Kingdom Hearts 2, but as you can tell, we're about 2 hours in, and we're only about halfway through the game. So this podcast would end up way too long if we kept this as one part. So right now, we've got the first part, the first tour through all the Disney worlds. Next time, we're going to go through the second half of the game, all the revisits to all the Disney worlds, and all of the story beats that are relevant in that. Even with splitting this up into two, I think the second part is probably going to end up being longer than this first part. So if you want to stay up to date for part 2, which will be released hopefully next month, down below this video you can subscribe to the channel, and I'd like to see you all back with the next episode.